Welcome back to Perception. We're going to get into the fun stuff now, the basic 10. We talked about why we study perception because it's important to survival. We talked about how we study perception with signal detection theory, and your brain might still be buzzing from that. I think mine is as well. Now we're going to talk about the basic 10. What do I mean by the basic 10? Well, your reading for this particular topic in the course was called Perception and Overview, and in it, Dr. James Pomerantz, who was my PhD advisor, states basically the basic 10 things to know about perception. Like, what are the big key points to take away from perception? So we're going to go through them, and we'll start with number 1, appropriately. The first thing to know about perception is that it's limited. We don't perceive everything in our environment. Okay, for example, with vision, we only detect a tiny portion of the information around us, of the energy around us, right? So this is the light spectrum. This tiny little sliver right here is the visible light spectrum, visible to humans. Okay, so we see this much of all of this energy happening around us. Okay, we can't see the rest of it. Other animals maybe can. Remember, we talked about insects and how the flowers look different to them because they have a different relationship with the flowers than we do, right? The flowers are there for their survival. Okay. Another example of it's limited. Okay. We can't see things like, do a horse's 4 feet leave the ground when it's galloping? We know that now because the governor of California at the time, 1872, Leland Stanford, he commissioned this gentleman, Muybridge, to settle a bet. Okay, so Muybridge used some stop motion photography, I guess. I'm not quite sure exactly how he got this photographed, some really fast photography. And he was able to settle this bet. Does a horse's 4 feet ever leave the ground at the same time when it's galloping? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. Edgerton came along a little bit later in the 1930s. Here he uses stroboscopic equipment to capture images that the naked eye can't see. So for instance, in things like forensics, right, this would probably be something really good to know. You can see the trajectory of the bullet, and you can see the protrusion where the bullet exits, but you can also see the protrusion where the bullet entered, which is sort of counterintuitive, right? But we don't see these things with our naked eye because we're not that good at seeing these things. We're not actually physically capable of seeing these things with the naked eye. So just to sort of give you a demonstration of the scope of how much we don't see, of sort of this limited little sliver of the universe that we are able to perceive. We're going to try this short little demo here. Okay, so this is going from Milky Way. We're getting closer and closer into Earth. You can't see any of this stuff, right? We're way out. We're way out there. Getting closer in, closer in. Here's our solar system now. Still can't see Earth. Barely, maybe. Oh, there's Earth. Okay, so now we're starting to get into stuff we can see. Right? We can see things this far away. We can see things at 20 meters away, or 100 meters away, right? Or 1 meter away, 10 centimeters away, 1 centimeter, cool, maybe even a millimeter. Now we're out of our resolution again. We don't see down into this level of things. So you notice that for all of these slides, zooming further in and further in and further in, and then further out and further out and further out, we have a tiny little portion that belongs to us, that belongs to our perception, that our perception can actually register. Just to sort of put things into perspective. Okay, So that's it for its limited. Next, we'll go into its selective.